Our mission here, as always, is pretty clear. We dive into detailed sources, the stuff you send us, pull out the key knowledge, the surprising bits, and give you that informed shortcut you're looking for.
And today, we're really getting into something fundamental. We're talking about the typical weekday routine, basically decoding how people structure their time hour by hour. We've got a source that maps one person's day in incredible detail.
Yeah, this person, Jessie, her whole weekday, 6 a.m. right through to 10:30 p.m., it's all laid out. And the source also includes some comparisons from the original hosts, Paul and Emily, which adds another layer.
Right, and this isn't just, a list of things to do, it's more like a template. When you look closely at how Jessie manages her time, you start seeing these universal patterns, don't you? That balance between what you have to do, work, chores, and what you need, rest, relaxation, personal stuff.
Exactly. So for you listening, the goal here is to find those aha moments. We want to uncover the sort of unspoken rules of getting things done, maybe the little psychological tricks that make a routine stick, and crucially, where those essential breaks fit in to keep us all going. It's really a compromise, isn't it, between all the demands and what we actually want.
It totally is. It's like this complex negotiation we all do every morning, every day. Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. The alarm goes off 6 a.m.
Okay, 6 a.m., that hits hard for some people. And the routine starts with something super relatable, honestly. Jessie wakes up at 6 because her job starts early. And she says straight up, I don't like waking up early.
Yeah, and that first bit of honesty, that really frames the whole next hour. It tells you that 6 to 7 a.m. isn't about leisurely enjoying the morning. It's driven entirely by this external pressure, the job. It's all about forced efficiency.
It really puts that tension front and center, the classic modern life thing.
Yeah.
Bending our own, biological clocks to fit institutional schedules.
Totally. I mean, if her job started at, say, 9.0, she could probably sleep till 7.0, maybe 7.0. Her whole morning vibe would be different. But nope, that early deadline means go, go, go.
So that pressure forces this, rapid-fire sequence of actions, just the essentials to get moving.
Exactly. The non-negotiables. Getting out of bed, bathroom, brushing teeth, washing her face. These are the absolute anchor tasks to kick things off.
But hang on. Even in that simple list, there's this little note she makes. She says washing her face makes her feel more awake. Why call that specific small thing out?
That's a perfect example of what psychologists call a transition ritual. It sounds small, but these physical, repetitive actions, they're huge signals to the brain, okay, state change happening now. It's not just about being clean. It's the physical sensation, the cold water maybe. It basically tells your brain, sleep's done, time to engage. It's a quick way to jumpstart alertness.
Huh. So the routine isn't just a checklist. It's more like a series of deliberate mental gear shifts.
That's interesting. Okay, and speaking of shifting gears, next up, the big one, coffee. The engine, right. She makes coffee because, her words, I love coffee. So here, necessity needing to wake up meets personal preference. It's like the reward that makes the early start a bit more bearable.
But it's what she does while the coffee's brewing that feels so 21st century.
Oh yeah, that little pause, that's phone time. Checking messages, emails, maybe scrolling social media. Connectivity first principle, you could call it.
Is that actually effective? Checking work stuff before you're even fully awake while you're waiting for caffeine?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? From a cognitive load perspective, it's tricky. She's multitasking a personal ritual, the coffee, the reward, with potentially stressful inputs from work or social media. Her brain hasn't really fully booted up yet,
Right, so she's basically opening the door to external demands before her brain's fully ready to process them effectively. It feels like the boundary between personal time and work time is already blurred, 5 minutes after waking up.
Exactly. For a lot of us, the day doesn't start when our eyes open, it starts when we connect online. She's engaging with all this external stuff before her prefrontal cortex is really running at full capacity for decision-making and, stress management.
It's almost impossible to resist, though, isn't it? That minute or two waiting for the coffee machine just seems perfectly designed for a quick scroll. It's like our kitchen appliances have become docking stations for our digital lives.
Couldn't have said it better. Okay, so digital check-in done, caffeine starting to hit. Now it's time for physical prep. Getting dressed.
And the description here is revealing too. Simple, comfy clothes, pants, and a shirt. She specifically says she avoids fancy clothes every day.
And that points to efficiency again, minimizing cognitive load. Choosing simple outfits means fewer decisions first thing in the morning. It's not just about a casual office, it's about saving that mental energy, that bandwidth for the actual work, especially since she mentions hours on the computer later.
Makes sense. Okay, last step before heading out, breakfast. Simple stuff again. Toast with butter and jam, coffee, sometimes fruit. Very straightforward.
Purely functional fuel. This isn't a relaxed brunch, it's about getting calories in quickly before that 7 a.m. exit deadline. That whole hour, 6.00 to 7.0, it's incredibly optimized, isn't it? Hygiene, a bit of ritual, digital check-in, quick food, all choreographed to get her out the door right on time.
And bang on, 7 a.m. she's out the door. Commute time. She takes the bus, described as a common way to travel, and the ride takes about 30 minutes.
Right, and that 30-minute duration, that's key. It's a solid block of time. Because she's not driving, it's essentially found time.
Yeah, she actually frames it as productive. She uses the bus ride to listen to music or a podcast.
Which is a classic way to maximize that fragmented time. See, 30 minutes is long enough to actually get into something, an article, a podcast episode. Her attention isn't tied up navigating traffic, so this commute becomes this little buffer zone, a time for personal input or learning that she doesn't have to carve out of her evening.
So it's like a mental warm-up for the day. Or maybe just some protected me time that the schedule wouldn't otherwise allow. Definitely different from driving in traffic, where the main output is usually just stress.
Exactly. So she gets to work around 7.30. That gives her a nice 15-minute cushion before she officially needs to start at 7.45. Reduces the rushing, keeps things punctual. Very in character for this routine.
And then the workday proper kicks off. Pretty standard stuff for many people today. Office job, start by checking emails, then dive into tasks.
And the description of the work itself is, well, brief but telling. Working on the computer for many hours, that paints a clear picture, doesn't it? Screens, sitting, constant mental engagement with digital stuff.
We should probably pause on that.
Yeah.
Many hours. If she starts tasks at 7.45 and finishes at 4:30, that's a big chunk of the day spent focused on a screen.
It really is. And it implies a mix of different kinds of cognitive work, right? Probably some deep work focused, demanding tasks, and a lot of shallow work, emails, admin, and inevitably meetings. The source mentions meetings happen sometimes and are a big part of work for many people.
Meetings. The great disruptors of flow, constantly switching between focused solo work on the computer and then collaborative discussion in a meeting. That takes a mental toll, the switching costs.
Absolutely. The structure of the typical office day often forces those shifts. It means she constantly has to manage her attention, her focus, especially over such a long stretch, which actually underlines why that structured morning and the upcoming lunch break are so important. Our bodies aren't really built for, 6-7 hours of nonstop screen focus.
Which brings us neatly to the midday break, lunch. Scheduled for 12 p.m. noon sharp. And her approach here seems quite strategic.
Very strategic. She usually brings lunch from home, sandwich or salad. And she gives clear reasons. Save money and eat healthy. That's smart on multiple levels, right? Efficient, no time wasted going out to buy food. Economical, saves cash. And health conscious, she controls what she eats.
But it's not just about the food itself. She eats with coworkers. They spend the time talking and laughing.
And that's the crucial social piece. That lunch break isn't just refueling, it's a necessary dose of human connection. It balances out the hours spent staring at a screen, often in relative isolation. The chatting, the laughing, that stress relief, it builds camaraderie, makes the workplace more pleasant, and ultimately helps recharge the mental batteries for the afternoon.
Yeah, it's an essential reset. Okay, so after lunch, it's back to work, more computer time, maybe those meetings pop up, until she finishes up for the day. And she finishes relatively early, 4:30 p.m.
That 4.3 finish is a really significant detail. It means she likely avoids the worst of the evening rush hour, and crucially, it gives her a much longer, more usable evening block compared to someone finishing at, say, 5:30 or 6 bingo. It really sets up the whole next phase decompression for success.
Yeah, it definitely takes some pressure off the second half of the day. Okay, let's move into that phase now. Winding down home life.
Right, so the transition home starts immediately, takes the bus again, gets home around 5 p.m., and that moment, walking in the door at 5:0, that kicks off maybe the most important psychological part of the evening routine. the cool down.
Yeah, her first instinct, the first thing she notes is the need to relax for a bit.
And that's intentional. It has to be. You can't just switch instantly from work mode dealing with emails, deadlines, maybe difficult colleagues, straight into cooking dinner or having a deep family conversation. That pause, that's the decompression ritual. It's scheduled do-nothing time, basically, to let the nervous system settle down and kind of mentally take off the work uniform.
And what does that relaxation look like specifically? Sitting on the sofa, maybe a bit of TV, reading a book.
Notice they're all low-effort activities, passive. It's about deliberately disconnecting. Reading a physical book, especially, creates a boundary from screens and notifications. Watching TV zone out a bit, sitting on the sofa is, well, just stopping. It's scheduled mental maintenance. It's the bridge from employee Jessie back to home Jessie.
You know, I bet a lot of people skip that. They feel they should be productive the second they get home, right? Start chores, jump into family stuff. But then maybe they find themselves snapping or just feeling drained later.
It's a super common trap, especially in cultures that value constant busyness. People confuse motion with progress, but Jessie seems to get it. Investing 30 minutes or an hour in this cool down actually makes the rest of her evening better. She'll likely be more present, more patient later on.
Right. Okay, so after the mental reset, the routine shifts gears again, moving into necessary home stuff. Dinner starts around 6:30 p.m.
And here we see that really clever blending of necessity and passion again. She mentions, I like to cook, and sometimes tries new recipes. So yes, she has to eat. Dinner is a necessity, but she's framed the act of preparing it as a hobby, something enjoyable and creative.
That's a great point, turning a potential chore into something rewarding. That must make the whole routine feel more sustainable, less like just a grind.
Definitely. But even enjoyable activities have their less fun counterparts. Right after cooking comes washing the dishes.
The unavoidable task. The source just says, very matter-of-factly, someone has to do it.
And that's just reality, isn't it? No routine is all fun and games. There are always these maintenance tasks. You could argue, though, that after a day of maybe very abstract computer work, a concrete task like washing dishes can actually be weirdly satisfying. You start, you finish, something is physically cleaner. But yeah, it has to be factored in.
Okay, so kitchen's clean. Now the focus seems to shift more towards connection and well-being. Spending time with family, watching a movie, just talking.
And this really underlines the purpose of all that earlier efficiency, doesn't it? The structured workday, the early finish, it all facilitates this kind of quality time in the evening. She's making space for connection, showing it's a high priority.
There's also a nod to physical health, but it sounds flexible. Sometimes she exercises a bit, maybe goes for a walk.
That flexibility is smart, I think. It's not this rigid, must go to the gym at 7 p.m. sharp kind of thing, which can add stress if you miss it. A walk is easy to fit in, low impact, gets you moving after sitting all day, gets you away from screens. It's pragmatic. Good return on investment for health without being overly demanding.
Okay, we're getting towards the end of the day now. The final wind-down rituals before sleep. These seem just as deliberate as the morning ones. Taking a shower, then reading a book for a bit.
Absolutely designed for good sleep hygiene. A shower can help lower your core body temperature, signaling sleep time to your body. And reading a physical book called A Wonderful Habit is key for relaxation.
Especially a physical book, right? Deliberately avoiding the blue light from phones or tablets right before bed. Avoiding that kind of stimulating content.
Exactly. It's an analog transition. It helps the mind detach from the hyperconnected state she's been in, on and off, all day. The ultimate goal here is restorative sleep. She aims for bed around 10:30 p.m., trying to get 7 or 8 hours. And that's sleep. That's the foundation. That 6 a.m. start is only sustainable week after week if the sleep is consistently good. If sleep quality drops, the whole structure starts to wobble.
Okay, so we've walked through Jessie's day, minute by minute almost. Now let's bring in those comparisons from Paul and Emily, the original source hosts. This is where we can really see what's like universally true about routines versus what changes based on circumstance.
Yeah, this comparison part is super valuable. Let's start with the constants, the things that seem pretty much the same across all three, Jessie, Paul, and Emily. Especially in the morning, the big one, coffee, right away. For all three, you can call it the coffee constant. It's like the biochemical kickoff for the day.
And flowing right from that, almost physically attached to the coffee mug, is the phone. The connectivity first thing. All three check phones, emails, news, whatever, while having that first coffee. It really nails home that this isn't just Jessie's quirk, it's a shared modern behavior. Caffeine for the body, digital feed for the brain happening simultaneously.
Yep, and those absolute basics, getting up, brushing teeth, washing face days, those are consistent anchors too. the fundamental getting the body online steps. But right after those basics, that's where the differences, the adaptations start showing up.
First, big difference, wake up time. Jesse's up at 6 a.m., sharp because of her job.
Yeah.
But Paul and Emily, they wake up later around 7 a.m. That 1 hour makes a huge difference to the whole feel of the morning, doesn't it?
A massive difference. It just highlights how much the external job schedule dictates everything. And think about the potential long-term cost for Jessie. She admits she doesn't like waking up early, so she might be constantly fighting her natural sleep cycle, her chronotype. Someone waking at 7.0 might be closer to their body's preferred rhythm, potentially starting the day with less sleep debt than Jessie, whose whole morning is a response to the institution's clock.
Wait, there's a trade-off there, right? If Paul and Emily wake up later, doesn't that compress their evenings? Jesse's early start buys her that early finish at 4:30.
Exactly. That's the core trade-off in any routine design. Jessie sacrifices that morning hour, maybe fights her biology a bit, but she gains a longer, more flexible evening. Paul and Emily get the extra hour of sleep, but their workdays likely end later. The source suggests 5.0 or 5.3 to Paul, which means less time for decompression, hobbies, family stuff before it gets late. You can't really have it both ways. It's about where you choose to allocate the time.
Okay, next variation, breakfast. Jesse's is super simple, toast and jam. Emily seems more health-focused, yogurt, granola, fruit. Paul's got a bit more variety, toast, eggs, cereal.
What's consistent is the act of eating something before leaving. The variation just shows personal preferences, maybe health goals influencing the choice. Jesse's toast is fast fuel. Emily's choice looks like it's aiming for sustained energy. It shows how even within a similar time slot, the content is personalized.
And the commute logistics also tell different stories. Jesse's on the bus for 30 minutes. Paul and Emily both drive, but for different durations, 15 minutes for Emily, 25 for Paul.
The key difference there is control versus potential productivity. Driving gives Paul and Emily more control over their schedule, maybe, but they lose that potential found time. Jessie gives up some control, but buses can be late, but she gains that 30-minute window for listening, learning, or just zoning out with music. In a busy city, that half hour of guaranteed attention time can be really valuable.
Then within the workday itself, even the lunch break varies slightly. Jesse's a strict 12.8 noon eater. Paul eats later, around 1 p.m.
Could be lots of reasons for that. Maybe Jesse's intense morning focus burns energy faster. Maybe Paul's workflow allows for a later break. Could just be personal preference or office culture. But the key thing is, the break is scheduled. It's a fixed point, reinforcing that need for rhythm during the workday.
And those workday end times confirm the trade-off we talked about. Jesse's out earliest at 4:04 Emily's around 4.30, 5000. Paul's the latest, finishing 5.0003, 5.30.
And the downstream effect is clear. Jessie and Emily have noticeably more evening flexibility than Paul. Jessie has the time and probably the mental energy to tackle cooking new recipes. Paul, finishing maybe an hour later, might be more inclined to just grab something quick and easy because he's more crunched for time and likely more tired.
So the choices made first thing in the morning ripple all the way through, really shaping the quality and possibility of the evening hours. It drives home that time management isn't just about cramming more in, it's about strategically distributing your energy across the whole day.
Absolutely. And despite all these variations in timing and logistics, what's the one thing they all prioritize in the evening? That immediate decompression ritual when they get home. Sitting down, listening to music, changing clothes, whatever it is. It seems to be a universal need after a modern workday. Critical psychological maintenance.
We've talked a lot about the actions, the schedule, but let's bring it back to you, the listener. Just by looking at this detailed routine, the source gives us this whole vocabulary for daily life.
That vocabulary is fundamental. If you want to build or analyze your own routine, you need those action words, right? Wake up, get out of bed, brush teeth, make coffee, get dressed, eat breakfast, go to work, have lunch, finish work, go home, make dinner, wash dishes, take a shower, read a book, go to bed. Those are building blocks.
And when you combine those verbs with the specific time markers, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 12 p.m., 4:30, 5:40, 10:30, you basically have the architectural plans for a day. Jesse's routine, especially with the comparisons, really shows that while details shift, that core human sequence dealing with necessity, using rituals, working, decompressing, connecting, resting, that's the engine that gets us through the working week. Hashtag outro. So wrapping this up, Jesse's routine really feels like a case study in constrained optimization. It's very structured, driven by that early job start. But somehow it still manages to carve out essential space for self-care sleep, that crucial decompression time, connecting with family, even hobbies.
It seems like a sustainable system, but its strength is its structure. And the source made that interesting point. The weekend routine, totally different, much more relaxed.
Which leads to, I think, the big takeaway question for you, the listener, to chew on. Why is that highly structured, almost rigid weekday routine actually so important for feeling good?
Well, the thought is maybe that very structure provides the necessary contrast to freedom. It's because Jesse sticks to those boundaries Monday to Friday that the unstructured weekend feels genuinely relaxing, truly restorative. The rigidity of the week, in a way, earns the freedom of the weekend. If every day was kind of loose and unstructured, it might all just blur into one long, low-grade grind.
So maybe take a minute to think about your own weekday. What are your non-negotiable anchors? The things you stick to rigidly? And where do you allow for flexibility? Why is that particular balance important for your energy, your focus, your overall well-being?
Yeah, definitely some food for thought there. We hope this deep dive into the nuts and bolts of a daily schedule has given you some useful perspectives for looking at your own routine. Thanks for joining us.
We'll catch you next time for another deep dive.